My name is Braden Naquin, alongside me, Melton Bell. Before we begin, I'd like to just thank everyone who watched the first episode. Quick backstory: Melton and I we've been in the process of building brick by brick a design agency focusing on, elevating small businesses and really making them shine in different ways. Brick Talk has been our weekly discussions. We've had Google Meet meetings every week for several months now. I think we're closing in on a year, and we just feel that we've always wanted to record these for recollection purposes and looking back on them, and we do have some entertaining moments. So we just wanted to, share them out to the world, and yeah, we do appreciate everyone who tunes in. New episodes of Brick Talk will drop every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central Time, posted to YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Yeah, we appreciate y'all showing up. How we doing today, Mel?
Doing good, yeah, man. On all the DSPs, So yeah, it should be great. Every you said Wednesday, right? Every
Every
Wednesday?
Wednesday. Yep.
Every Wednesday, man. Yeah, but I'm doing great, man. It's got my Vietnamese coffee. Uh so I'll be on the toilet next tomorrow. So there's that, right? So yeah, I'm doing good, man. How you doing? So you got your coffee there too? Or is that
Good, man.
tea?
Yeah. No, it's some coffee. 9:30 at night, so we'll be up for a little minute. But um, yeah, just haven't left the apartment today. Just inside working. I know we talked off air. You were kind of same boat, just getting after it. Trying to make more of my Saturdays. Trying not to sleep so late and get after it early.
For sure,
Um,
man.
yeah, man. But
Man, loving that tailor made, man. It's that hair looks it's clean, man.
thanks, man. Thank you. You know, I played golf all 4 years of high school and kind of fell off big time after that. And um, fast forward to present day, a few weeks ago, we went to the Valspar Championship in Palm Harbor, Florida. It was a great trip.
Oh
Change of
yeah,
scenery, change of the weather from the windy city to sunshine, palm trees, Florida. So I needed something to wear to the tournament, so that prompted the purchase of this hat.
for
Um,
sure.
but yeah, speaking of that championship, I sent you some
Right.
photos on Discord the other day.
Yeah,
Just something I thought was pretty cool. Valspar being a paint company, they use these pallets, like life-size pallets. They planted them throughout the grounds of the championship. I thought it was, just kind of cool. I think us as designers, we perceive these different than, your average Joe. I thought it was just a cool branding thing that they did throughout the tournament. And yeah, I mean, I guess, do you have any colors that you like throughout your career use so much that you can memorize their hex code or anything like that?
yeah. Actually, what's funny is a couple of these like Pantones and hex codes, of course. Always, 6 zeros. Use that way too much, even though it's kind of inappropriate to use. I don't know if people know that, you're really supposed to use just that pitch black, just for accessibility reasons. But what was interesting when you sent me these were I thought it was like corresponding to like the sky or the nature or, that whole color theory thing. I thought that was what they were doing. I feel like it kind of was, because like for instance, the blue one is like Sea Wave and Bayside and Turquoise 10, and I thought that was interesting. The They had the pink one with the pink quartz. Berry Twist. So I was like, man, what is happening at this place? Like, what's that area? What's that about? I'm assuming it might have been food around that area.
Yes, I think they were to identify different amenities or customer based things. So like restroom, beer, alcohol station, food, beverages, stuff like that. Um, yeah. But I just think a cool marketing thing on the brand's part. I think I haven't been to that many golf championships, but in terms of the company that hosts it, as far as the ones that I've been to, mainly it's only been the Zurich Classic in New Orleans. So there hasn't been many like brand elements throughout the tournament, right? You're walking miles and miles on the day, and so just to see these popping up, I can bet money that this might have persuaded someone, maybe a wife in Florida that wanted to repaint her bathroom, just for seeing a color, out and about. So uh, yeah, good move on their part.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now even I know what Valspar is. I'm gonna, you know, next time I need to paint something or, get kind of creative, I know what brand to go with. So if you're listening, you know, hit us up, give us some money. That
Yeah.
could that could work.
We could talk promo codes. We could talk brick by
Yeah,
brick.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, but it's this yeah, this is dope. Yeah, like I said, my mind definitely went to uh nature and how it connects with color and how color means different things around the world. Man, it's cool. In my experience, I've always, anytime I was working on a brand identity or any project, to add those little keywords to it to give it just more weight, like how they did naming their different paints. I think it just enhances the project and makes it have more meaning for whoever that end user or client might be. But man, we're moving into a world that don't give a damn about nature no more, man. I was looking earlier, bro. They're putting fucking chips in people's heads now. So it's weird, right? So I need to look up the guy who got this first Neuralink thing. So here's my thing. What happens when it needs to be a firmware update? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do? Do you have to like plug yourself in? I get it. I think the guy, is paralyzed and I they would be cool, right? I get it. But it's just like I have a couple iPhones. I have an iPhone update happening tonight. What do you do in that situation? Do you need to connect to Wi-Fi? Is it connected to a satellite? I feel like we're just moving so far away from technology, or like nature and technology aren't married more together, that we're playing a dangerous game. What do you think about this Neuralink thing?
So yeah, crazy. I mean, sci-fi is real life. It's no longer just fiction. Um, I personally would never do something like this. No amount of money would ever sway me. There's no convincing for me to leave my, just my brain how it is, and I'm perfectly okay with living life for the remainder of my life, just you know,
Without a chip? No
without a
chip.
chip, neutral,
Yeah.
neutral, whatever. Yeah. Um, Now, okay, circumstantial, right? The little info that we know on this guy, he's paralyzed from shoulder down. Probably has had a rough life. Okay, it takes more research on our parts to understand kind of where his head's at when being approached to the idea of being a test subject, right? That's what these, like, they are test subjects, right? Because I like to imagine, that it's sad because the testing leading up to this, they've had to do it on other like living beings, whether it be animal or humans, and who knows what the fuck has gone on, during those tests and experiments. We are only seeing the one that comes to market, and like the idea of, yes, blessing this man's life who's been paralyzed, who has led an unfortunate life, has probably been had to see so many experiences through others. It's sad, and yes, this may help give him some direction or abilities, but what what do you have to give up for that? Your entire brain's function. And you brought up a good point. What do you do when that software has to be updated? Is he just like shut down? Is he dead sleep for 24 hours, 12 hours? How where's your moral compass? It's not there. Like, I'm sorry. It's just like that's you know I don't know. I just think it's like you're saying, just that relationship between technology and nature. Um, Technology's taken over, and we're losing a lot of the nature.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's kind of it's kind of crazy. When you watch like sci-fi movies or whatever, it feels like it's so far away. But I think a lot of times we forget is like these different iterations of it. We're already there. It's just like a early stage, a beta stage of those things. Like the actual whatever movie, Star Wars. I know that's kind of far fetched, but we live like those stories is like our reality. It's just a different dimension, but it's the same thing, and uh, it's crazy how uh, like we don't even realize it. Because what happens when like a hacker? I was looking at some videos the other day about how one of these countries like sent a virus to every USB in the country, and it was just hidden on their devices until they were ready to, activate whatever that code was. And so something like this, it's just it's weird. It's really weird. But I definitely won't be uh getting a chip. But I will say, for at least 7, 8 years of my life, I really wanted to have uh titanium legs like Lieutenant Dan from from Forrest Gump. I thought Lieutenant Dan was one hell of a badass, man. I wanted for a long time. I just had to go to a Bubba Gump restaurant, even though this place, it's not, it ain't Baton Rouge. It's not Opelousas. It's not, it's not one of those places. But yeah, I'll go with some titanium legs, maybe a hook as arm. That'd be cool. Go to elementary schools with a hook. Show the kids. That might be fun.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I understand, like, it's tough to give a take on this where you're so opposed. Like, I know you would never do something like this. You would have that's too much, as a man, you're giving up your entire, control over your brain, and that's that's just so uncomfortable to think about, like, that there are other, conscious beings, not in a wheelchair, not paralyzed, that are standing in line for this. That's crazy. Like, they need
Yeah.
to, they need to take a step back and really appreciate what they have now, because, you know, let's talk doomsday, right? Whatever doomsday, when I say the word, doomsday, whatever comes to your head. So whether that be the seas rise, whether that be, we lose all water and food, and zombies, whatever that is for you. Um, if you have a fucking
Right.
chip in your head, that's gonna get compromised. There's no other way to put it. You are not about to be just like roaming off grid with that thing in your head. Something's happening to you. So,
Right. If
you
it
know,
gets wet, you're
yeah.
the fuck.
I mean, come on, can you go swimming with that thing? Like, come on.
Stick your head in a bowl of rice. You're like,
Right, right.
okay.
So, and that makes me think of, um, kind of in the same ballpark with Neuralink and Elon Musk and Tesla, right? So Teslas, I think they're so cool. I mean, just as a from a technology standpoint, super cool. All that, we rented one on Turo. We went to California last year, and then we rented one in Florida. They're a pleasure to drive. The whole, you have like no dashboard; it's just a screen. Super cool. However, if we're talking longevity and we're talking like doomsday, do you want a Tesla as your doomsday vehicle? I
Yeah.
think the argument there is, that movie that just released not too long ago on Netflix. I'm blanking on the name, but there's a scene when like the world's ending and all the Teslas are the autopilot takes over and they're all crashing into one spot. So you have to kind of think about that stuff when when things go to hell. When just all things go wild, right? Like how are you gonna put your trust into technology and that you'll have control over it, because that's kind of what you're giving up. So I think I would much prefer to just stock up gasoline, somewhere in a rural area and live off that. I did see Elon's response, like once this movie came out, right? They kind of took a shot at Tesla, and I think Elon addressed it. Um, we'll throw it up on the screen if we can find it, basically saying that Teslas can run off solar power if whatever gets lost. I don't think that really addresses the point of control. I think as long as it's an electric vehicle, you are you're kind of at a loss unless you are some super like a software engineer, like understand the motherboard of the car, how it runs. If you can kind of program it how you want, if you can hack the vehicle, then it'd be a better like reason for, okay, this is my end of world vehicle. But for as long as it's running on a network up above, it's tech. I don't know. It's just I don't think it's reliable.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree with all that, man. While I'm very into tech and all the new gadgets, right? I don't know. Like I still there's something about being more hands-on, whether it's silk screening, drawing, sketching, and what we do, whiteboarding. I rather all that than uh just being so reliant on technology today. It's weird. Yeah, I've don't have a Tesla. I've drove a few in the past, rode in some, and yeah, it's a great experience. But I do I would preface this by saying that I don't think they would ever let a catastrophic event really happen. It's just not how the game is set up. Like there's just the system is not set up to crash, right? Only a little bit, just enough to traumatize people to keep them on that hamster wheel. So I don't know if uh those, for us anyway, those scenarios is really an option. These people got to get their money. They gotta they need they need us on that hamster wheel. They need that juice. They need us plugged into that matrix, right? So can't have a matrix if we're all fucking dead. So,
Yep.
you know, but
And the matrix only like becomes more wired, or I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but if people have fucking chips in their head, I mean, like if we're water, blood, bones, we're still, there is the essence of the matrix, right? Like there's different concepts, people feel differently about it. You can describe the matrix as working a 9 to 5. You could describe the matrix as living in a suburban household in a neighborhood where every house looks like yours. There's different
right.
ideas about what a matrix looks like. But I think you if the objective is to escape the matrix, you're not doing yourself any favors by putting technology in your head. So, um,
I wonder what I know the guy was like playing chess, right? But like it's fucking boring, man. I don't want a chip in my head to like control my computer. I want to get on some real RoboCop shit. I want to get on some Total Recall shit. I don't want to be just just sitting still controlling my damn computer, bro. I want to be like hacking ATMs. I want to be removing clothing. I want to see X-ray vision, right? Like I want to get down to the real brass tacks of things. So yeah, they got a lot of different, versions they need to get to before, would even consider something like that. Like I want like lasers out the eyes, maybe some Wolverine like claws. Really take it up a notch. Playing chess on a computer and looking at Wikipedia pages in my head, nah, bro. Not going for that.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, for that use case of that man and that's paralyzed, I did see some like criticism because the release of the chip in his head, right? The content that went along with that are videos of him playing Mario Kart, are videos of him playing chess.
Oh,
So
geez.
people are like why? Like what is this? Like maybe because he's paralyzed, like that, just the joy of him being able to do that is enough for him, and that's cool. But to your point, yes, like if I'm like I'm trying to, yes, be like a superhero, or it reminds me like Lucy, with Johansson, like that type of shit, unlocking
Yeah.
different parts of my brain, different abilities throughout daily life, hacking stuff, just getting to points where I've never been able to be. Um,
Man,
but
you you know what would be great? Sorry for cutting you off.
you're good.
What if this guy started like getting on some Metro Boomins type shit in his mind and started making a beat? And he just starts smoking and just overloaded and shit, bro. That would be insane. How do you like is there like a RAM in the chip? Like what if he get on a beat machine and he's just going at it, just making some crazy Neptune or Timbaland beat? That would be crazy, bro.
That's so okay. To talk about computer components in the brain. So take test subject A and subject B. Subject A is, let's take the man. He's paralyzed in a wheelchair, so he's limited. You take subject B, who has control of all limbs and like a conscious being, decent guy, made it through college, whatever. Do the chips perform based off what's up there already? Do they
Oh
perform
yeah.
differently, right? Like if this person's brain, if they took did a lot of drugs in their day, and the chip only has certain amount of circuits they can work with, versus like
Right.
that guy in the wheelchair who again, I apologize for not knowing enough about this guy, but maybe he is a wizard up there and it's just been cooking all the time in his head. He just can't do much because he's paralyzed. So maybe the chip is up there and it's running, man. It's connected. It's Ethernet cords plugged in, man. It's ready. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
another thing to think about. So
yeah, yeah. Then he damn, that's be crazy. What if he goes on a torrent and just downloads some weird shit off of LimeWire? It just fuck like you know what I'm saying? And it's just he has to reset. It's a crazy topic, bro. It's a crazy situation. And now the internet's gonna say we're ableist because they think we're shaming this paralyzed guy with a goddamn Intel chip. It is his. Oh, is it Intel or is it M3 chip? What type of like what's it's so many questions, but like most podcasts, we're not informed. We're just
yeah,
speculating, you know? So
speculate.
it's
Yeah,
crazy, man. This episode of Brick Talk is brought to you by Prize Picks.
yeah.
You know, all these motherfuckers got prize picks. What's going on in the world? Like everybody's gambling. Gambling is just I don't know where it came from, bro. Like, I remember literally, I feel like it was just yesterday. I was in a dusty hallway playing craps. Now everybody's gambling. You know, people are betting on everything. It's like, it's interesting. And I think all this new prize picks gambling stuff is making is the real reason there's an uptick in women's sports. I don't think people have realized it yet, but it's literally an uptick in all sports, especially women's sports, because they're wildly entertaining right now. But also like in the performances of professional players in general. Like I don't know where this shift happened. It almost snuck up on us, I feel like. Um, it's I think the last thing in our society that was like this was the legalization of marijuana. And I wonder if there's some connection with uh with gambling. Is this something you notice uh in sports or with gambling or prize picks?
Yeah, so I'm definitely, recognize the uptick in interest surrounding gambling. Now, um, I don't personally support gambling. I think it's super toxic. I also don't have money to be gambling. I removed the FanDuel app off my phone because I just felt that it's it's influencing, to not in a good way. Um, and I do think it's become this like it's been normalized a little too much. Like I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm seeing uh, celebrities of all levels endorse it. Um, it's just unhealthy, I think. And yeah, man, I don't know. It's just, but to your point though, like it has brought so much attention and grown the audience to sports and different sectors. You know, to a different level. And I guess in their eyes, like business is business. They're gonna keep pushing it. We're gonna keep seeing Prize Pick advertisements on every YouTube video. It does make it, just more intense. Like if you bet on like a Pelicans game and you go there to the Pelicans game and watch it, right? I'm speaking from experience. It does make the game more like you're at the edge of your seat. Like say you did one for like, like this team will score this many points in the first half. When that second quarter is, dwindling down, you're at it, you're watching. It does kind of get your heart going, but um I know a lot of the players have voiced out just because people be saying some shit. People that got money that'll sit like courtside or close to it, they'll audibly tell the players that like, hey, you're fucking up my fantasy, or hey, I need one more 3-pointer from you. Like in that part, I think is not fair to the athlete. I think like projecting that like, disgruntled or whatever onto them is just unfair. Like you're the one that put money on the line, so like deal with the result. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's crazy. We're talking about the future with everything that's going on, but hey, still got the Coliseum, and what is sports at the end of the day but a distraction from what? Distraction from these goddamn Neuralink chips putting in people's heads. Why don't they? I wonder why they do like they couldn't get approval to do it to like dogs or something, like police dogs. They got the robot dogs, right? Like I wonder, Peter, don't attack me, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy, man. I don't know how we got to prize picks, but it does remind me, since we are designers, and I also, when it comes to gambling, I think it's a lot of, dark UX patterns, a lot of gamification, same thing they do, in Las Vegas. A lot of those things, are extremely dangerous. I know my mom, for instance, she was going crazy on Facebook with those games back in the day. I don't know what happened with that. I think they kind of almost got rid of them. But man, she would be on there playing that shit all day when it first came out. So I don't know. I've never met someone who actually won money, and a lot of people, I'm kind of against social media because I have a theory about social media that we'll get into another time. But uh, a lot of celebrities get free money to like play, and they end up magically winning. So that kind of enticed, the public to think, oh, damn, I have a shot. Like, I know what Steph or I know what KD is gonna do. I know the Cowboys not gonna do anything. So, like they think it's an easy win, and uh, yeah, I wouldn't Neuralinks and gambling. Yeah, not messing with neither one of those. Either one.
Neither one, yeah. I mean, like, and lastly on the gambling piece, it's like I'm someone who has always gambled with my heart, and they tell you that's not what you're supposed to do. So, like last season, like with the Saints, like I put money on several of the games on the money line, and I was continuously disappointed with the result, and I kept asking myself after each time I did it, like, what do you expect? They're not having the hottest season. Um, and you would think like I would wise up and bet on the opponent, but I could never do that. Like I feel like I can never bet against the Saints, um, regardless if there's money for me to for the win on the other side because I can't bet against my home team. That's not something you can do. So I think those feelings of just like they I don't know, like they run off the passion you have for sports and the passion that you have for your home team, and they make you believe that you need to put money on it because you're going to win this money, and then end up spending more money on another gamble or merchandise, food there, or whatever it may be. So, all in all, uh, not good how normalized it's become, but yeah, that's the way we're going, I guess.
Just a hard switch. I have let's get into some design. I have a rant that I wanted to share with you. So I was, I'm really into design thinking. I think it's a thing that it's a lost art. People, uh, for us, we work at a startup. We're around a lot of creatives, but sometimes what happens is we don't know how to apply that same creative thinking or design thinking throughout our lives. Sometimes people just they almost see design or just being creative as a certain unique thing. They see it as that self-expression. But you can solve literally any problem through design and through design thinking. And a good friend of mine, she shared a video of a designer named Natasha Jen from Pentagram. She was doing a TED talk, and she basically was saying design thinking is bullshit. That as a graphic designer, specifically, um, you don't really need design thinking because throughout the design thinking process or throughout the process, what's missing in design thinking is critiques. And you and I were talking about this meme that was floating around where it was we'll put it on the screen right now how it was artists it was like a surfer and as you see on the screen a surfer would call the artists and the art critics were on the beach and it was I guess trying to say that um, you know, artists are actually in there, actually getting to it, and these critics on the sidelines just, being a hater. And while that is true, as someone, my theoretical lens is haterism. You know, I love to hate, I love to critique. I think not only is design thinking and the critique uh, very necessary to the process, I think it can help everyone grow, regardless of what it is, especially in uh, we think about transformative design, transforming the world, where we have things like these Neuralink chips or, these gambling apps, right? So that I think that critique is very, very important. It's very necessary um, because even I, as a designer in my early days, I did not have someone to critique my work. The end user, the client would may love it, but uh, I wasn't able to actually grow and develop until I had someone that was critical about what I was doing, and man, it was hard at first. there was some days where like, bro, I don't know if you ever been in this situation, but I'll be at the computer and they're critiquing, and I'm like, I gotta look forward because my eyes getting watery, like, but it's so necessary learning how to critique, how to explain, how to walk someone through something, and understanding that that critique, whether it's in art or design, or in the design thinking process, is so necessary for the growth of whatever you're working on. Like there should have been more people in the room for the Neuralink thing, hell, for that new Twitter logo, right? For so many things. So, uh, yeah, I think that meme was great, and I think it's something I know for myself. I'm gonna dive in more as someone who uh, loves design thinking, and when I'm not on this podcast, I want to teach more people about it. So, yeah, that's my little TED Talk serious moment for the pod. But I think it's very important that aspect, especially for designers, to expand the way they look at the world and how they design, not just being a production designer, but being just a designer in general, designing life, building life, transforming life. One of my mantras is I design on God mode. I'm looking, whether it's growing a plant, like the plants behind me. Um, what's this weirdo guy name? Brian Johnson. The guy, and we'll put it up on the screen. This guy, he has a Project Blueprint where he's um, trying to reverse his age by taking all these supplements. Like he's designing, government designs, environmental design. Is everywhere. So the critiques are necessary. While some of these people need to get off the sideline, a critique is very, very necessary for growth and development.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I think your take is very it's a very mature take because I think a lot of artists their art is a projection of their insecurities. So, um, I think that when it comes to the criticism piece, they are so scared and so just hurt to hear what others think about it, but like you're saying, like it can help so much with personal development and development of your craft. And, regardless of the medium that you pursue, it's just going to help you grow. And I think this meme, and we'll get into meme culture in a future episode. That's a whole thing in itself. But
Yeah,
this one specifically, I've seen like two or three other times captioned differently. So I can't remember what it was, but the people on the sideline were called something else. The guy riding the wave was something else. I think this one hits so well because the artists, they're riding the wave, they're doing their thing, they're pushing out work, they're growing in public. And you got all these people on the sideline watching, doing nothing but watching. Yes, they're critiquing, right? Yes, would that surfer, they may be there out in the water if those people weren't there, but these people on the sideline showed up to watch this guy surf. And I think that this can relate to so many other things in life. You can look at this and like, the surfer is the person living life, and all these people are like the you know the ones that we draw up in their head of people, what they think about us, right? So like if you're not doing XYZ because you're afraid of what others might think of you, you got to reevaluate that. And I think that a lot of artists go through this, and it's so I appreciate your take on it because you've come out the other side. You expressed how you've been on calls with clients and they're just ripping your work apart, and that hurts you, rightfully so. I mean, you put in the fucking hours on this work and you were proud of it, and they they may like a lot of it, but then they're like, okay, can we fix this? And you know you can kind of feel some type of way about it, but I'm also pretty sure that you came out the other side like, this helped me so much. This helped me grow and kind of figure out what I really needed to do. And I think a lot of artists that refrain from sharing their work like on social media or their own portfolio sites, you see a ramp up in production when they post something and they get feedback from it. They get feedback, they get comments, "Oh, love this, like love this." And then, and then the ones that are more moderate or not demeaning, but criticizing their work come in and they start questioning their work. They start looking back on it 2, 3 more times. They start sleeping on it and really just revising their craft and growing. So I do think that art critics, they'll always be there. They're always just gonna make the art better in different ways and really just work alongside the artist to just develop and I think that's just part of the game. So
Yeah, 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 man. Do you think there's a difference between criticism and just insult? Do you think that's like the lines are blurred? Like people think they can't really tell the difference. I kind of feel like criticism is an educated analysis compared to just, man, that sucks. That's whack. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're calling that criticism, like,
yeah, educated analysis is the perfect way to put it. I think that you can't be demeaning, you can't be nasty about it. There are a lot of a lot of art critics have gotten to the critic part of their career because they were so successful at being at the artist stage in their career. So a lot of the art that they critique, they've done it themselves. They've done variations of that art themselves. So they have this premonition in their head of what's good and what's not good. A lot of them have a bad habit on critiquing so vulgarly based on their own outputs themselves when they can't really they need to shift that to where they recognize and appreciate what this artist has done and then kind of like give helpful advice or guidance on what could work better, what may work in a different way. So I definitely think that there's it's two parts to it. You can be a hater and be nasty, that's not criticism, but like you're saying, just educated analysis is that's what criticism, really constructive criticism, is.